Hey everyone, it's again from Pepi's Techsuit, and today we're going to be unboxing and taking a first look at something called a PlayStation 5. You might have heard of it. This little box right here. All jokes aside, this is the most excited I've been for a tech product this entire year. So without any further ado, let's check out what this next generation of gaming is all about. Alright, so let's get right to it. So first of all, I wish I had more room to do this, but you know what they say about big consoles, they come in big boxes. Alright, so let's look at the box here. You can see the PS5 here, and the logo, which was a big change from the PS4 logo, if you remember that reveal. We got the 8K signage here, 4K 120 HDR. As you can see, 825 gigabytes. The new SSD that everyone's really excited for in this generation, especially for the PS5. It talks about the CPU and the SSD with their speed, the new 3D audio technology, and with the Tempest engine, we have the wireless headphones, so we'll also test those out. This controller, this could be the most next-gen thing about this console. Here's a little hint here. For the first part of the box, do it standing up. For the second part, do it laying down. Not you, obviously, the box. So, let's open this guy up. And what do we have here? We got the quick start guide. Obviously fun, everyone reads this, the safety guide. Everyone reads that too. Great literature. So on the left side, we have the HDMI 2.1 cable, which is very important if you want to push this thing to its max on your beautiful 4K TV. We have the base here. Oh, that feels really cheap. It's like light plastic, very rattly. Hopefully the rest of the console is built better, and I expect it to be. This is just a base, I'm not too worried. So when you rotate the base, you can see that the screw to the bottom of the PS5 is right here, and we'll do that when we set up the console. Power adapter, obviously very important. Thankfully the PS5 has an integrated PSU, so we don't have to worry about a giant charging brick. Alright, the Dualsense controller. This is something I've been really excited about ever since they announced this, and once they talked about the capabilities of this with the haptic feedback, the adaptive triggers. And yeah, I haven't held a DualShock 4 in a few months, but this feels really nice. Like, I'm really happy with that just off the first impression of holding this. So it's like a standard PlayStation layout. You got the create button, the D-pad here, the joysticks, PlayStation button. Ooh, that lit up. That's nice. I like that they did the light bar kind of behind the touchpad this time instead of back here. But this was kind of cool if you wanted to, I don't know, if you're gaming in the dark and you wanted a flashlight, then the DualShock 4, that was great. Great to see USB-C here. Got these adaptive triggers, which I'm really excited to test out. You have the mute button for your mic, little speaker grill. You have the 4 shapes. This time they're not colored, obviously, to go with this entire black and white aesthetic they have going on. And the back is kind of textured. And that feels good. I don't think it feels as good as something like, say, the Xbox Elite controller, the newer one. But this still, like, this is definitely the best feeling PlayStation controller. Yeah, because I have the ones from before the DualShock 4, and I think the DualShock 4 felt better than those, but this feels even better than that. But yeah, this texture feels really good. Like, I'm really happy about this. I kind of wish it was a little bit bigger and a little heavier. I don't know, but I guess for kids this is a good balance, right? But yeah, this definitely feels good. It's bigger than the DualShock 4 for sure. Like, I could tell that immediately just by picking it up. But not as big or heavy as the Elite controller, I think, from the Xbox. But yeah, this feels really good. I'm really happy. First impressions, this is good, Sony. I'm really happy with what you've done here. And of course, we have the USB-C charging cable for the controller. Okay, so this part, we have the box laying down. Pull it out here. I am very excited right now, if you can't tell. Oh my goodness. This thing, before I take this wrapping off, I just want to say, like, my initial impression from the reveal and everything was I love the shape of this. I love the shape of the PS5, what they did with the black and the white. I thought it was different, it was new, and it was really next gen in a way. So let's finally check it out and see if it lives up to it in real life. Oh my. This thing is gorgeous. So if you were to do it in the horizontal way, you'd have the PlayStation logo up top, but I'll be doing it vertically. And as you can tell, we have this crazy black and white design with curves going all over the place. This looks so good in real life. I know it's a love it or hate it design, but I definitely love it. For people that wanted a more muted aesthetic, you know, blends into your TV cabinet, this probably isn't the design you were hoping for. I guess the Series X was a better design in that case, but just looking at this, and I'm going to keep it here on my desk. This is beautiful. Yeah, but this thing will get covered in fingerprints on your first setup, but thankfully you won't be moving your console around that much, I hope. So let's get the base attached here. Put your screw in. Turn it, you can tighten it with a coin, whatever. Okay, perfect. And you have your PS5 on the stand. And all I can say is this thing looks crazy gorgeous. Like, there's no other words to describe it, honestly. And what I'm noticing now is that these here, they aren't exactly white. It's kind of like a grayish white. Not as gray as like the original PlayStation, but it's kind of like an off-white gray mix. And it looks really nice. And the same texture design is here as the back of this controller, so that's great to see. And obviously the black and white look across all of the devices, and the accessories is definitely something that Sony did well. Okay, everyone's talking about it, so why don't we? Yes, the PS5 is big. Personally, I don't mind at all. I'd rather have a big, well-cooled, quiet console than a small one with heating issues. So I don't mind that Sony went this route with the PS5. But some of you might have more restricted space around your TV cabinet or your desk. So let's see how big this thing truly is. And yes, because I know some of you refuse to use the metric system, I have some old PlayStation consoles lying around for just this day. First up, the PlayStation 1. Quite a bit bigger. Next up, the PS2. Yep, still quite a bit bigger. And now the PS3, which was the biggest PlayStation console and known to be huge when it came out. And yeah, PS5, still quite a bit bigger. Okay, you get the point, it's a big boy. If you're restricted on space, you might need to get creative in how you fit this into your setup. As for how the Dualsense measures up, here it is next to the PlayStation Classic controller. Now next to a very beaten up DualShock 1. Of course the DualShock 2. And lastly, the DualShock 3. So let's check out some of the other accessories and let's start this guy up. Okay, should you choose to buy another DualSense controller, this is the box that it comes in. Alright. Now here, the good thing is that it explains everything. It mentions the haptic feedback, the adaptive triggers, the built-in microphone, and the new comfort design of the DualSense. And honestly, just by like the first impressions of the controller, I'm so happy that Sony went in this direction. And I can understand why they changed the name, the branding from DualShock to DualSense. It honestly feels like a new experience, a completely new controller. Alright. There we go. Okay. And again, we have our instruction manual. I think that's actually it. Yeah. I guess they don't include a second USB-C cable in that Apple fashion, Apple-inspired way. You know, I always make jokes about chargers on this channel, but yeah, this is great. As you can see, the Dualsense is here, and it is beautiful. I am so happy Sony went in this direction. And next up, we have the Dualsense charging station, which is for both of these Dualsense controllers here, charging them up wirelessly, which is great to see. Click-in design, and yeah, you can charge 2 controllers at a time, which is a great solution if, I don't know, a company didn't give you 2 USB-C cables for 2 controllers. Love to see it, don't you? More instruction manuals. We got like textbooks to read here. We got charging brick here, and the cable. The good thing about this is it seems to be pretty long, so if you have a long cable run around your television set or your desk like I do here, this would be a great way to do it. And finally, the charging station with this uniform color design, the black and the white. It just looks so nice, and I just noticed upon unboxing that this also has the same texture finish here with the icons, PlayStation icons, and that it's that attention to detail that you really appreciate. And also on the back, this looks exactly like the PlayStation 5, and more like the digital edition, but it's the same V design that both of them have to represent the number 5. And these do have 2 very thin grips here to prevent this from slipping around a lot. Okay, I'm not too worried about it moving too much. But again, this looks so nice next to the PlayStation 5. This whole uniform design, I'm so happy that it went this route. And last, but certainly not least, the Pulse 3 wireless headset. So, even though the branding always keeps talking about 3D, this and that, most headphones will work. If they work with the PS5, they'll work with the Tempest 3D engine for the audio. So you don't need these particular headphones to use that Tempest engine, but I guess if you want the whole look, you want the unified set that Sony's doing with all these colors, with the charging stand and the DualSense controllers and the camera and the media remote, then it looks really nice. And I'm really excited for these, not because I expect a lot from the sound. I mean, I love Sony headphones. I think they sound great, but for the price that they're selling this at, like, even if the sound is just acceptable, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy with that purchase. Like, you're not paying $500 for these, you're paying like 100 something. Okay, so up here we have some more literature. Over here we have wireless dongle, audio cable, and a USB-C charger. So at least this comes with a USB-C charger. So they have this band up here that moves to fit the shape of your head, which is great. I've had a few headphones like that and they always felt really comfortable. And these seem to be really comfortable. You have the 3.5 millimeter jack here, you have the USB-C charging port, you have what appears to be a mic, a power switch, mute button, volume rocker here, off monitor switch, and the chat and game switch. So, and another microphone. There's a lot going on here, and this design just, it's the most striking thing about these headphones. Like, you just look at these and they're like, yep, this definitely belongs to something futuristic, and with the color scheme, you can easily tell with the Dualsense controllers or the PS5 that it all goes together. So one thing that's very cool about the PS5 design is the textured finish on the inside of the white PS5 panels. While it might seem like an ordinary textured finish with random bumps, it's actually much more interesting than that. Upon a closer look, you could see that it's actually made of the PlayStation shape icon scattered randomly throughout. This is such a cool detail that makes you appreciate Sony's approach to this device. And what makes it even better is that it's the same texture used on almost all of the other accessories, including the Dualsense controller, the media remote, and the Dualsense charging stand. And lastly, we have the game. If you want to check out the game case, this is what they look like. So we have Miles Morales Ultimate Edition here, PS5. Looks great. It includes the tracksuit, the Into the Spider-Verse suit, which I was really excited to see, and 3 extra skill points and all that other stuff. The space requirement is something that you have a little bit of a concern for. You see 105 gigabyte minimum, right? 105 gigabytes. PS5 has a 825 gig SSD, and once you count the OS and all that other stuff, you have approximately 660 gigs to use. And then with this game, you have 100 gigs on top of it. So, it's like after like 5 more games, you might be in some trouble there. But like, keep in mind this does have the Spider-Man remastered game too. So this might be 2 full games, right? So I wouldn't use this as a primary example for that, but it's just something to keep in mind that the Sony PS5 has limited capacity for games. But one thing I'm really excited for is it has the Dualsense there, vibration function, and trigger effect supported. So that is very exciting. So this is what the old school PS3 games look like. Then once they had the rebrand and the slimmer consoles, and PS4 game, and finally the PS5 game. Not really any change in size difference. Like the Blu-ray discs have always had the same size here. The PS2 one was, I think it was slightly taller and slightly skinnier, but yeah, like the size is the exact same. So if you have all your PS3, PS4 games, you can line them up with your PS5 games and they'll look great together. So moving these two out of the way, you can see it's essentially identical. The branding. The one main difference is rather than going for the blue accents, they went for the white accents here, which I think reflects nicely on the console. So within this case here, let's bring this out a bit. We can see we have the disc itself, we have the Spider-Man remastered code. Again, this is just the ultimate one. And you have the download codes for the other suits and everything in Miles Morales. So yeah, no instruction manual or anything like that. It's pretty lightly packed. You have the game here. And it looks like you can actually take this guy out and reverse it. Yeah, okay, I'm definitely keeping this. This looks so cool. That looks so cool. You can see the original design in the background. Perfect, so let's get this game started. Seeing as this is a gaming console, let's talk about the games. Included on every PS5 is a copy of Astro's Playroom. I think this was a genius move by Sony to hype customers up about the Dualsense controller. The first thing you see when you start the game is a demo showing the features of the Dualsense. Obviously, this recording isn't the same as trying it out, but it gives you an idea of how this part works. After doing this demo and playing through a bunch of levels in the Astro game, I am so excited to see what developers do with this controller. The triggers adapt to the context of the game and can have insane resistance and feedback as shown here. If you lightly press down while holding this gun, you can actually see the trigger pushing back on your finger. The haptic feedback is also so cool. It feels like every part of the controller can have a different feel depending on what's happening on the screen. When you walk on different surfaces in Astro's Playroom, you can physically tell that you're walking on sand or glass or metal and so on. And the sounds coming from the controller when you walk, when there is wind or rain, or when you grab a coin, combined with the haptic feedback, all provide for such an immersive experience. If developers go the extra mile to fully utilize this controller to its full potential, the PS5 will definitely be a winner this generation. Playing Miles Morales in the fidelity setting was such a treat for my eyes. Amazing colors, lighting, textures, details as you roam through New York in the wintertime. I don't want to put too many clips from the game here to avoid spoilers, but man, this is something else. Being a huge fan of the Spider-Verse movie, that suit was such a fun feature in this game. You can set it so the game emulates the frame rate in the movie for your character only, and you can also set the game to have the comic book effects pop up when you're in a fight. And that's such a cool little feature with the Spider-Verse suit that had me loving this game so much more. In terms of gameplay, everything from the web swinging, to the combat, to Miles' mannerisms, they all feel more refined than the original game. While the haptics and adaptive triggers are used well in this game, they're nowhere near the level that Astro had. One of the things that this game does is truly utilize that 3D Tempest audio engine. Using the Pulse 3D headset in the first mission, as you're fighting some thugs, you hear Peter Parker's classic witty remarks and quips from all the sides as he circles around you attempting to slow down a notable spider villain. And not just that, but walking through the streets of New York, you can hear everything from sirens, cars, honking, people talking about Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and coupled with the haptics and the triggers, the 3D audio builds on that insane level of immersion while playing on the PS5. I've only played this game for about half an hour, but I can tell you that I am excited. There is a special moment after the first mission is finished when it truly feels like this game is starting. The camera slowly spins around Miles as he sits perched atop a New York building with the perfectly fitting song On My Own by Jaden Smith and Kid Cudi playing, and that's when it really hits you. The next generation of gaming is finally here. Subscribe for lots more PS5 content coming soon. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.